Hello and welcome to Audionautic Deep Space Network, episode 156. This is the Independent Musician's Guide to Production and Promotion. And today we've got a demo of a new plugin from BLEASS, a delay plugin. Looks really cool. Curtis is going to show us all about that. And we're also going to talk some changes to the market and pricing. But we'll get into that later. I want to stay in happier mode because we're going to check out a really cool plugin, and I want to go right into that. Curtis has all of his different computers set up to do this. So if I do this, you can see we've got the plugin set up. So Curtis, before we get into it though, let me say hello to everybody. Welcome everyone in the chat. We've got our patrons, ASF Stripe. We've got Shady Ridge Records. What's going on, everybody? Let us know how you've been. If there's any gear that's caught your eye this week. But with me today, it's always when I'm saying this, he looks so pensive and contemplative. But look, he's looking up. He knows he's first on the chopping block. Eonlake, what's going on?
Hello, dude.
How
are you doing? I'm okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm good. What's going on?
I know you're trying to avoid, because I know something about you that you're trying to hide because I called it. What's new with you? What gear has caught your eye, Eonlake?
Okay, yeah, I might have caved on the labyrinth thing. It might be sat right here next to me.
It's what is it? Schrodinger's labyrinth until you show us, though.
I don't think Schrodinger would agree with that. I think he said, no, the purpose of it is you don't know which state it is until you observe it, whereas I think we all knew, really.
But we need to observe it is what I'm getting at.
Oh, right. It's plugged in, though, and it's making a rather awesome sound at the moment, so I don't want to touch it.
Now you're just teasing us, man. Tell you what, can you post a video on the Discord, maybe?
Yeah, definitely.
There we go.
I'll post the racket I've got going on at the moment.
Yes.
Some weird proto-techno with subharmonicon and labyrinth.
You got to stop. Now you're just like teasing too much, man.
Nasty sounds. Dirty stuff.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you got it. How have you been liking it?
Really good. It's been absolute scenes. I've been making some really cranky noises on it and just trying to record everything. Because you never know when something wonderful is going to happen. There is a little bit of, I think I'll get better with it. Learning the circuit flow and what does what under what conditions is a little bit weird. It's one of those things where you think there's a couple of knobs that don't do anything until you understand what they do. And then you realize they only do it under certain circumstances and certain path settings. But yeah, you can start making quite wild and wonderful sounds quite quickly with it. And if you've got a drum machine and maybe a subharmonicon as well, and you start cross-patching them, weird stuff starts to happen. Real sort of
techno becomes
a lot of it's sort of distorted, or at least the stuff I like.
Well, that's you to a T, though.
Tortured howling stuff. I think, oh, that's cool.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you got it. You've been well other than that, though? Everything good?
Yeah, everything good. I've been trying not to let it distract me from rehearsing, because that's my main...
That's right. I love how you buy this right before a live show.
It's not good timing, but...
Is it going with you or no?
No.
Wow.
I'm thinking about a way I could do live sets with stuff like this, though, using the AB crossfading on Ableton, because you need to pitch it. Well, not less so with the labyrinth, but more so with the subharmonicon. So you'd kind of want to cue it as if you were a DJ and you're listening to the next track, get it in pitch and doing something good, and then bring it in. So yeah, I've been thinking about things like that a lot recently.
I could just see you with like one headphone on, listening to the bump in, tweaking like a DJ, but you're tweaking knobs on a synth.
And then I finally bring it in, and everyone goes, "Oh my god!
Yeah.
Why did he bother?"
There you
That's
go.
what we've been waiting for.
The anticipation has killed everyone.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah, just practicing as well.
That's exciting. How many weeks is it? 1 week or 2 weeks or 3? I have no idea.
It's 2.
It's 2. Yeah.
It's 2.
Curtis is going, I think, right? You're going?
Yeah. I'll be flying out on the Tuesday. I'm going to spend a few days in the UK, down by the sea. Then I'm going to finish it by going to see Eonlake do his thing.
Nice. Yeah, so the link is in the chat. It looks like it might be connected to the previous thing, so the link may not work. You want to post it one more time?
Yeah, I'll grab it. I'll give me a sec. Keep going.
Yeah, no
I'll
worries.
put it in there again for everyone. Yeah.
What time is it at Eonlake?
Here, it's
Yeah.
7. Well, it's
7.
10
Okay.
minutes past 7. Yeah,
Yeah, just curious.
normal time.
I'll be honest, I haven't looked at the link because I know I can't go, and it's just like a
Right.
massive tease. So,
yeah, it starts around. I think doors.
oh no, I don't mean right now. What time is it currently? I mean the gig.
Strange question. Get a watch.
Yeah, what time does the gig start?
Yeah, I think doors are at 7ish, but I will be on a fair bit later than that. I think I'm third on.
Oh, okay. And how long is
You're
your
nearly
set?
in the main event.
I'll be doing 40 minutes.
Nice. Okay.
Mm.
Cool.
I had to put some new stuff in there.
There you go. Yeah.
Hot off the
There you
press.
go. All right.
Thank
Well, very exciting about that. Also
Mm.
with us today is the demo extraordinaire, Curtis. What's going on?
Hey, dude. Yeah.
I'm all right. How are you?
So it's one of those ones, right? Coming to the
Yeah.
end of Mental March, and I've just kind of like thrown myself over the finish line. So yeah, here but not here. But that's okay. That's okay. It's been a productive month.
You're in the podcast,
after-
not of the podcast, huh?
Yeah. So like, you know, I love what I do, right? Because it's the other side of what we do. It's the physical, momentary space of engineering and production, which, you know, what we do in here, while we do a lot of like improvisation and stuff in the moment, it's, you know, it's production. It's very, you know, it's time based, and it's very methodical, you know.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my experience. And then this engineering lark comes in, and it's just, you know, pedal to the metal. It's just rolling and wrapping cables around and just throwing things up, making things work, you know, moving faders and EQing on the fly, and, you know, lighting states as they come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's very much of the moment in the real world. And I love it. It's been a long month, and so I'm really looking forward to just coming back to this place and just kind of plonking myself down and going, right, okay, let's open up a project file and let's have a look at something, and it's kind of just all these unfinished pieces that I've got, and then just going, let's go for it, and just kind of make them, start finishing them through.
There you go. Yeah, little by little, right? Little by little.
Exactly. So yeah.
Sorry.
So no, that's okay. How about yourself, brother? You've had a busy week.
Yeah, it's always busy here, man, but it's good. It's good. Been having a good time. Lots of fun stuff. Lots of no sleep. Lots of work, but yeah, just you know, looking at the positive of it. It's a good time. It's a good time to be alive, I guess. You know, there's lots of gear. There's lots of stuff to do. I don't know. I was really stoked on the 20-minute session of making that remix for the challenge we did. I liked giving myself that, but not working with any of my usual gear. I gave myself this challenge of taking 1 2-bar stem from that whole, you know, 4-minute track and turning that into this like ambient dusty thing. I did add some rain, so that was my cheat, but it was fun trying to figure out like, well, how can I make this stem now be kind of a lead sound? So add crystallizer up at 12 semitones, you know, do like this and that. And yeah, it's good to get it out of your normal workflows and try things. And it's been a while since I've been in the DAW, just like adding plugins and stretching things, you know, time stretching and all that. So yeah.
Well, there you go. That's what you need. It's time to, you know, do these things when you can, you know. Yeah.
Oh, and drums. Drums are so much fun, dude. That's the other thing I've been doing.
Always said it.
It's so fun, man. I find like 5 to 10 minutes at night just to like play along to songs, you know, my practice. And then I've been actually taking on Saturdays, I've been sampling drum loops into like either the tracker or the SP or even Logic on the iPad and adding like Fuzz Droid from Sketch Audio. That was I have a video on Sunday, a short coming out. So yeah.
Do you like it?
The drums or Fuzz Droid?
No, Fuzz Droid.
Yeah, it's cool. I also found a little distortion setting in Galaxy Brain that I added on top, and I mean it just got nasty, dude. But yeah, Fuzz Droid, I like that with some of the the plus and minus, and then those what is it, bias or whatever. You can actually get a really smooth overdrive out of it that just kind of brings out some of the harmonics on the drums without completely overpowering it. Now in the video I made, the short I made, I then sampled it into the SP with cassette sim and 303 on, so it got a little more grittier than I intended. I forgot bus 3 and 4 were on, but it's got a really nice sound if you want like that overdrive. But then the first patch that I threw on was like just completely just obliterated it, and so like if you want that type of sound too, you know, that fuzz, it did it. Yeah,
I've been meaning to pick that up since we featured it on the show.
it's cool. I still think, I mean, Dr. Vibe is like, you can't mess with perfection. Like that's my go-to. But I needed to make a video for Fuzz Droid because Ryan was kind enough to send them to us and stuff. So I was doing that. But yeah, I throw everything through Dr. Vibe because like Smiling Ears is saying overdrive over compression. Well, I didn't need the compression. This is the E kit. Yeah. But yeah, I just needed I wanted the grit because like these E drums, I wasn't using MIDI. I was doing the audio, and it's just so dry and boring. And like I wanted to spice it up, so I wanted overdrive. Really quickly before we move on, I do just want to mention Friday is 404 day. MW Fizz says, any hopes for 404 day? I really hope we get an update. I have no idea if we are. I have a video coming out that day, but it has nothing to do with a potential update if there is one. But I would really hope we get an update, and I think we will. I mean, if they don't, it would be the first in 4 years or whatever that they don't do an update. So I have a feeling they've got something cooking, but I don't know. It'd be nice to see some cool things coming. Oh, and I didn't even realize this is 20 years of 404. So yeah, I would really hope something's coming. We'll see. I really hope it's not a Mark III, though. I hope it's not a Mark III. Stay with the Mark II for a couple more years. That thing is awesome.
Just in case. We'll have to see how it pans out. Everyone's eyes will be on their fees come Friday, for sure. It's going to be a rather exciting Friday.
Yeah, let's see. We'll see. But yeah, if something does come out, I think I'm going to live stream maybe Tuesday with like going in blind with whatever they added. So we'll see.
We'll
see how it pans out.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, Curtis, shall we get into Bliss?
Yeah. Let's get into
what's
Bliss.
Washed in with the tide. That was my other title that I was thinking of, but I didn't know if that was too like negative connotation. So I was like, I'll go with the rolls in, but yeah.
I think that's good.
Washed in with the tide.
Wash them in. I feel like that. I feel like I'll have to work on that one. But yes, they were lovely enough. Bliss were lovely enough to send it over to us. And as always, when we do these live demos, sometimes people send us codes. Sometimes we buy this stuff. In this case, they sent us a few codes. They didn't say anything about what we have to say or anything like that, but they were kind enough to send it over. And it poses an interesting question. If you want to bring up the screen, Sunwarper, so you can have a look at it.
Are we going to do sound too? Do I need to bring views in?
Not yet. Well, yeah, I mean, you could do. I'm not going to play anything right now. But as you can see, like it's as you can see, the overhead is everything else, and this is a delay plugin. And my first reaction was another delay, because everyone's got a delay. They've got in third-party plugins and in stock and everywhere you go, a delay is one of the basics that you have, right? So the question is, what makes this special? Why would you put your money here as opposed to anything else, right? And that is the question. Bliss have done some fantastic out there, different, unique effects, right? And at first instance, I won't lie, I was like, cool, delay, nice one. But once you get playing with it, and once you get under the hood and you start kind of fiddling around with parameters and stuff like that, there's a lot more to it than you might have thought. And it's not simply just about time repeats and creating rhythms with delays and stuff like that. There's a whole bank of effects which allows you to breed interesting textures into your ideas. And so, yeah, I want to kind of take you through my exploration and what I found with it all, and show you how easy it is to use, because it is good fun. And I think, again, I'm trying not to keep it from an Ableton perspective. There's a lot of things. I had Mike in the back of my head going, you can do this with phase shifter, you can do this with phase shifter, you can do this in Ableton, you know. And sure, you could.
That does not
but
sound
not
like a
everyone
fun
uses
way to
Ableton.
live, just having that in your head.
But I suppose what I'm trying to get at is, if you are interested in synthesis and you're interested in creating textures from nothing, or if you've got a bit of beat block and you want something that you can kind of mess around with and it can give you something unique and different, it's very much an interesting plugin to kind of play around with in that sense.
Yeah. I see we've got envelopes, 3 LFOs. So let's go over this, because this does look like, and then feedback effects and look like modulation too with destinations. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. So the work, but it reminds me very much of like a wavetable synth with a matrix involved. It's similar to like Vital or something like that, or Serum. We'll go with the UI first, and then we'll kind of go through kind of what kind of sounds it creates. So everything essentially comes through from left to right. And you can start everything here. You can see with an input filter, so straight away you can start to sculpt what kind of sounds come through and what go. You then have your different types of delay in there. You've got your ping pong, and then how you'd want a standard delay to work. They've got inertia here, which is essentially pre-delay, how much of the signal you want to come through before it starts getting delayed. But then they have this interesting tape setting here, which kind of warbles things and kind of bends things just a little bit more. It's a nice little effect in that regard as well. And then obviously your standard, your feedback amounts, your dry wet, and then underneath they've got a freeze and a kill. So freeze, obviously, to freeze the signal that comes through. So if you like what you sound, it will just kind of loop it through. And then kill if it gets a little bit over the top, which it does happen. So it does get a bit screechy at times, which is nice. Looking at you, Smiling Errors, it does get quite screechy at times. It does have a lot to play with there. There are 3 LFOs, purple, which is for Sunwarper, blue, and green. And then within that, you've got how they're affected. So you've got your different wavetables. So you've got your sine, your triangle, your sawtooth up and down, your square, and your random. They can then in turn be synced either to the beat, or they can just be free. And then you can send each LFO to 4 different destinations, which is really nice. So the mappability of this plugin straight in is really, really nice. You can create 3 different LFOs and then send that to 12 different spaces if you wanted to, which gets really handy when you start looking at the effects. Because the effects are when you can start creating different things and kind of coming through. Before I get to that, however, as well as having 3 LFOs, you've actually got 2 envelope followers as well, which is a really, really nice addition. And again, those envelope followers, you got within those 2 envelope followers, you can then send them to 4 different destinations as well, which is gorgeous. And that, as you can see, I've got a section there for followers, and that's where the shape and the type of delay that comes through can be affected by the signal that's coming through before the effect. And that's a really nice way to create randomization and create something really different and create ingenuity without having to necessarily stack many, say, stop delay plugins over and over and over again and adding stuff through. And before it's built in that sense where it's like one plugin can kind of sort you out, a bit like Effects Rack with Sound Toys, where you've got one and it pushes through and it goes from there. So the malleability and the matrix is really nice. I've been talking for a while. Before I get into feedback effects, any comments, any questions, or any wonderings?
I just want to hear it.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So textures, rhythm, space, follower, Oh yeah, which one of those do you want to start with?
Dealer's choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to start. I'm going to start with textures then, because I think that's what kind of brings this into its own. As you can see here, I've just got. If I get rid of this for a second, I've just got a very standard electric piano with some very boring chords in there. So I'll just play that so you can see. This is the dry signal. Put that in there. And then if I just add that to it.
Hold on, I
It's
gotta
gonna
shut
stop.
off echo cancellation. That should be working now.
Yeah, there we go. So as you can hear, not just do you have the original piano sound coming through, but you've got those flitters of texture coming through, which, because they're built into the effects here, they are being you can create them in their own ways. So you can add more delays, you can add more sounds and textures underneath the sound which is going through, and allow yourself then to create you can effectively create a parallel processing of the signal coming through, and have that really nice idea coming through there, which is really nice in that regard. When it comes over to, let's get rid of that for a second. When it comes over to rhythm, for example, let's bring this guy out here. Bring this guy into here. Again, very boring 909 file here.
You love that 909 lately.
I love 909, man. I went to see Carbon Based Lifeforms 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they use 909s for everything. It's just like, yeah, everything's there. So yeah, again, very boring drum track here, but add a bit of this into it, and suddenly you've got a texturized drum feature coming through. Let me just make sure I can hear that so I can see what's going on. Can you hear that?
Yeah, it's coming through a little glitched on my end, but I can hear it.
So within this, you got a frequency shifter coming through with a ring modulator and a bandpass filter which is coming through as well. So you've got the original sounds, and then the delay process behind it is creating these sweeps and creating these ideas which just add a fullness and a richness to the sound that's coming through, which I personally think is a really nice way of doing it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm trying to listen in on it.
Then we can start modulating these. It's going to start getting wacky, I think. So yeah.
Pitch shifting.
So a lot of pitch shifting coming through here, and a lot of the ideas where you can, like I say, you kind of create a subtle but very prominent, not prominent, it's the opposite, a subtle but enriching kind of texture to the sounds in which you get. Now, if you are someone who likes to get free samples online, for example, those samples tend to be very basic and they tend to be very middle of the road, right? And then throwing something like this can create something where you can blend those two signals together, a fully dry sound or a fully wet sound, and create something very unique and very different in there as well, which is, again, a very nice thing in order to do it.
Yeah, this sounds really cool. I'm trying to take it all in. There's so much you can do with it that I have to kind of process what it just happened.
I get that. I'll try this on for size then. So you've got just a bog standard guitar chord. Let's bring that up a little bit.
It's a bit quiet. There we go.
How's that?
That's better. Oh, wow. I hear that ring mod. Oh, and is that a little visual cue on the left and right of the ring mod too? The little movement?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So it can show you where it's going. So that's going to the ring mode, right? But for example, we can also send that over. One thing I will say about this is the dragability. So I would love if you could just take this and then just drag it over to where you want it to be. But you have to go through a Dropbox. That is one thing I'll say.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah, but that's just me being picky. I think that's just me being picky. As you can see, you go down through the drop down menus and just kind of move them on through and kind of create, find where you want to attach it to. But it's very easy. You know, it's very easy to kind of get these things done. And if you kind of just wanted to throw on, why not some Bit Crush, for example?
Oh yeah.
Suddenly,
I do have a question for you too.
Yeah, go on.
Because I think some of the glitching we're getting on this end is coming from, I'm seeing your CPU is baking over there. Is there any chance that you're able to change the quality on this to like a lower quality, higher quality? I know we always talk with, not necessarily on Ableton. I actually mean on this plugin, like on their settings or something. Is there a way to do like a low quality mode or anything? I know we always talk with Bliss. No, it doesn't look like it. We always talk with Bliss about that they are a little CPU intensive, but to be fair, you are live streaming and you are sharing a screen and you are the one sharing the stream, like actually streaming itself. So yeah, but yeah, like MW Fizz says, I hear it too. Yeah, so I do hear some glitching. It's coming through, but every once in a while, like as you add more effects and stuff, we are hitting. I can tell that CPU is just like cooking.
It is.
So that is one thing. I love Bliss. Maybe you can change your buffer size though, or something. The buffer.
I'm running it internally right now, but it's black hole. But carry on.
Anyways, yeah. They are a bit CPU intensive, but what it gives you is some really good good quality things. Like their synth. What is it? Megalit, right?
Yeah, Megalit.
That thing is incredibly powerful. So all of their plugins are really useful, but you do have to be mindful. Sometimes they can have a little pull on the CPU. But again, Curtis is streaming this, sharing his screen, and live streaming the actual stream you're watching. So that is having a bearing on the CPU on his computer. That poor computer, man.
It's only a poor M1 chip. That's the problem. I've actually increased the sample rate. So maybe try this one.
Yeah, that might clean it up a bit.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, that's cleaner.
Okay, well there you go. It's weird. I'm going to play around here just so you can kind of hear or see just how easy it is to kind of muck around with it. Where is it?
Oh, look at that.
So, as you can see, it's quite easy very quickly to just create something completely brand new and something that you wouldn't have seen before. And if you're in I threw this to my kids the other day, and it got them out of the space of beat block, which I think is a really nice place and a really nice thing to do, because very quickly, very simply, you can just take something that it can be very uninspiring. You can throw it on, and before you know it, you've got something to work off. It gets the juices flowing, and you get some sort of inspiration going. And the ability to really refine what it is you're modulating and create means you can sculpt the sound in which you want to go for, which again, in this day of wanting to have everything specifically the way you want it, it's a very nice thing to have.
Yeah, I mean, I can see, like we were talking with that sample challenge, right? I did everything I could to not use Paul stretch. Like I was time stretching in Logic and stuff, but I could see you take your samples, throw it through something, throw it through Tides, and you can do so much within that to just kind of tweak the sound, change it, like you were doing with that frequency shifter, all of that. I do also want to mention, I don't know if we said it yet, but I'm looking, it's $40, and it looks like it's also on iOS, which is awesome, because like on Logic for iPad, that could be very useful.
It is. It's iOS. So yeah, you can work on iPads, which is a really nice thing to have. I've been experimenting a little bit as well as using it as an effects bus instead of like
Yeah.
Stage One as well, and that brings some really nice ways into it. So there is a lot you can do with it, and it's everywhere. So
Yeah.
which is lovely.
Yeah, I think just sending like
Mm.
all of your melodic sounds into a bus and just having that kind of underneath it. I used to do that a long time ago in my post-rock projects. I would have a bus of like reverbs and delays, just doing all this crazy stuff, and then I'd sidechain it to the kick. So it's just kind of bouncing underneath. But this could be awesome for that because you could have some really unique textures all blending in and stuff.
Yeah, completely and utterly. And I hear everything you're saying. I share share your thoughts 100%. Eonlake, do you have any thoughts or comments on it?
Several, yeah. So initially, I must admit, like you, I thought, another delay, eh? That's good. Don't have many of those. But we know these guys, and they've made some great plugins, stuff that I come back to for inspiration. You know, that kind of good, not just that it sounds good, it makes things bounce around. It's plugins that are slightly different, very nicely designed, and enable you to find things that are inspirational, which for me is like, you know, that's that extra step above. And must admit, I do like there he is.
Sorry, he just jumped. I wonder if he's gonna open the door too. Oh no, he can already get out, huh?
Doors open. Yeah.
This one looks really well designed as well. I do like the signal flow, you know, left to right along the top, and the fact that oscillators are obviously, you know, affecting things in that signal path. It's all very nicely laid out. I don't mind the drop down boxes even, because it gives you ideas of things that you haven't thought of sending, you know, various wave forms to.
That's
I find
true.
no triplets thing's a little bit odd. That looks a bit strange. Maybe there's a reason for wanting that. I'm more inclined to want the opposite, say nothing but triplets. But
Nothing but triplets. I get that.
what the hell?
I,
You can switch it off if you want triplets.
I've noticed that it can get muddy with the triplets. That for those wondering, just in the bottom on the LFOs, you can select
hold on,
it
I gotta show
and
this
on
one
the
again.
delay. So
One second.
you can select it down here so that it doesn't provide it will just skip out your triplets. So your rate, for example, your 3/8, or your 5/16, it will just skip them out. It can get a little bit muddy at times if you're stacking your LFOs and you're stacking your modulations. For example, if you've got a frequency shifter and a ring modulator, it can get, and you might be going for that, right? There's something you might be going for. But if you want something that sounds unique but still maintains its clarity and maintains a certain illusion, so to speak, of control, then I found that hitting no triplets and keeping everything relatively in sync with one another can help with that.
Yeah, you
Especially,
might want to tighten it up if you're doing something faster.
exactly, like they have a lot of presets, like with everything, right? They always come with a lot of presets with Bliss, and some of these massive ones, like Ultimate Riser, for example, it smacks you, it absolutely smacks you in the face. So it does have the ability to get kind of chaotic and out of control, hence why they've got this where are we? I'll come back here. Why they've got the kill switch there. And I think triplets kind of pays into that a little bit.
Yeah. I do like the fact though that this is almost, I mean, this is like, it looks like quite a serviceable delay for normal use, but also fair bit of sound design capability here as well for something that goes a bit beyond an effect and becomes, you know, sculpting sound. And I like, again, I like plugins that let you do that all in one box where it's designed to flow through it. You know, I'd quite like getting stock plugins and chaining them and so on, but you know, I like this stuff too, where everything seems to kind of work because it's been well designed.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think as well, if coming back to the iOS situation, on things like iPads, it can be a little bit more difficult to do that, right? It can be a little bit more difficult to chain things and to kind of scroll around and link things together and that. Whereas this is all in one box in that regard. And that does make it really easy and really simple to do.
And you can make things sound deliberately wonky if you want to, just a
Mhm.
slight little LFO on pitch related things and make it sound a bit woozy. So I mean,
Yeah.
it will lend itself to different styles as well. You can have tight and accurate and for fast type dance music, or you can have it quite slow and a lot of sort of modulation and pitch stuff going on for slightly more woozy lo-fi stuff. It's pretty flexible.
Flexible, woozy, and lo-fi stuff is definitely the name of the game here, I think. Happy accidents, to borrow the phrase from Bob Ross. I think the notion of just whacking a few things in, moving some parameters, and then going with what you've got is also a really nice way of doing this as well. You can hunker down and really get in and sculpt your sound, but it also allows you just to take something and run with it and just stay in that flow state, so it lends itself for the best of both worlds in that regard.
Did you play all the examples that you've got set out there?
I've got here one, maybe what have we Smiling Arrow says, do you put percussion through it? We have put percussion through it. I can come back to it here. Let's bring it here, channel 2. Let's bring this guy up. Can you hear that?
No, I gotta bring Use in.
You bring Use in. Where's that coming from?
Yeah, we got some mad echo going on.
I'm trying to work that out. Where are we? There we go.
That's on yours, yeah.
There you go.
That's when I muted you. Oh, it's still there. We'll just pause that for a second. Here, let's just go. We'll go to Eonlake real quick. I'm gonna just take you off because your camera lifted up, Curtis. Just give me a thumbs up when you're good to come back. All right, Eonlake. Thoughts?
I think that's something I could really quite use. I was scrolling through too many shorts and things like that the other day, and somebody was demoing an Echo box. It was Erica Synth's one.
Yeah,
and I really liked it and thought, wow, that's actually fun to use as sculpting sound and turning almost a bit like granular synthesis, where you take a sound and turn it into a swarm of sound and then sculpt that. So using delays like that, and that unfortunately was hideously expensive and out of my reach.
Well, now for 40, you got this.
Yeah, this is looking like it could do a very similar job, maybe be even more flexible in the kind of weirdness and smearing of tonality you can do with it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, it could be a better alternative, really.
Yeah, I could definitely see this sampling, like you're saying. Take some sounds, throw it in, chop it up. Get those little, almost like a granular synth. You can use it to make all these crazy sounds in between the sample, and then chop those segments and use that for something, as your start point now in a chromatic mode or something like that. Like that would be really good. I mean, just as a delay itself, it looks really cool. But all those kind of features that you've shown us, Curtis, like I can see those, using all that stuff to get these new sounds out of your samples. Because like for me, when it comes to sampling, typically I want to do something unique to the sound. Even if it's my own sample, I want to change it, like drop it a couple semitones, chop it up, find these little micro moments in the sample where the plugin or the pitch is drifting, or the automation that you set on a filter, you get this kind of interplay of the reverb opening up because the filter's changing, just that small snippet. So this would be really cool to get all of those tiny little changes and things like that. Curtis, you think we got it sorted? I got you muted still. Are you good?
Yeah, let's try it.
Yeah.
Let's try it. So if I'm playing this now, can you hear it?
Hold on. Use has to come back in. You've got to unmute Use. I can't unmute it. Yeah, it's saying I can't unmute that one. It's on you. Whoa. Here, we'll do. There we go. Let's see if it's working now. No, I'm still not hearing it. Are you hearing it, Eonlake?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh, I lost it.
Well, that's all right. I think, yeah, Lars says, tasty reverb. Yeah, pretty much. Lars, what's going on, man? Good to see you. It's been a minute. Hope you're doing well.
Ooh.
Getting Cassetti. Didn't he get like an
Being
8-track?
Cassetti.
Did you get an 8-track or something too? I swear I saw he got like he's going to start doing 8 tracks, or maybe it was discs. I can't remember, but I swear he got something new for his label.
And
Yeah, you look like you're.
I like the way they show the oscillation, the LFO effects on the things you've assigned it to.
I mean, to be fair, I was saying that it's CPU heavy, and I think part of it is that awesome reason. Like on Megalit, all of them, they show what's happening, which is really cool and good.
I don't have a problem with that though, because if it really is a monster on the CPU,
just fake it.
Yeah, I just record it.
Yeah, exactly. That's really what I used. I used Megalit for every song on a track. And I just baked once I felt I was good with it. I just baked it, and I'd save the preset. So if I ever needed to go back, I had the MIDI. I could just go right back to it. But boom, it was all there. So yeah. And yes, Lars did get an 8-track. So there we go. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, Curtis. Well, if we're not getting the sound, we can just move on anyways. We showed Smiling Ears. If you want to go back to the percussion, it's back near the start. I think it was the second or third demo, but yeah, and maybe if you mean more like shakers and stuff like that, I mean, that would... Oh, wait. Play it? Oh, no, I thought I got the sound for a second. Okay, but yeah.
No, that was Sam knocking on the door.
I was like, hey, there's drums. That's my sampling brain going, knocks on the door, that's a drum. That's my new kick.
No, it's just my housemate knocking on the door. But yeah, it's a fun little plugin. It's definitely something worth checking out, and definitely worth something playing around with. It can create something very new, and it's not that expensive either. So it's fun to watch it come through, and it can take you away into a new realm. Which, let's face it, sometimes we need that.
Oh, you were so close to saying "wash you away."
Oh, of course.
Right, Tides. Come on, man. Can wash you away to new worlds. Come on.
I like that. I'm gonna to get rid of some of this stuff and free up some bandwidth on the live stream so that we can move across to the next segment. Thank you ever so much for Bliss for sending this across to us. It's a beautiful little thing, and yeah, if you are like us and you are dismissive of something because there's lots of it, it's time to step away and to try something new, because that's definitely unique. It's not just the delay plugin.
Step in some new waters.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What was the price again?
40. $39.99 is what I see on. I don't know if I don't think that's an entry price. I Google searched it and it said 40. It's also, it looks like it's on iOS too, which I think, again, I will mention, like Logic for iPad, its limitation is not the best third party. It's only the iOS thing. So having more of these on iOS, always good. Yeah. Well, instead of just awkwardly smiling at me, both of you, I'm going to move us right along. That really creeped me out there for a second. So I'm going to move us right along. And for those that are watching on or listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, I apologize for that awkward silence. We were washed away in the tides, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, if you are on Apple or Spotify, do consider leaving a review or a star. More than 1 star, preferably. But if you really didn't like that awkward silence, then I understand the single star. It's all right. We'll work on it, I promise. But consider leaving a rating. Consider leaving a review. It helps a ton. We've reached a lot of new eyes and ears. Curtis even mentioned to me today, and I still need to find out. He mentioned, but I forgot how he found this out. But we're, 31 out of 100 for music production podcasts or something?
Yeah.
Right?
Random
I know you wanted to work
website.
that in, so I figured I'd slide that right in there, so just to please you.
I know. I completely forgot about that in the chaos of getting everything sorted. Yeah,
That's why I'm here. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Yin and yang, man.
Yin and Yang. Yeah, number 31 out of 100 on some random ranker website that appeared randomly on our X feed, which is a nice place to be.
Don't
So
tell
if you
Lars
wanna
that.
be-
Don't tell Lars
if you
that.
want, if you want to be part of the 31st best music production podcast, then head across to patreon.com/audionautic and help us keep the lights on.
Yeah, maybe we'll hit 30. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Those
maybe.
people at the top of the list, they won't appreciate it, but we will.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The goal is
exactly.
top 25 on some arbitrary random websites list.
Yeah.
It's the
Oh, yeah.
validation I need in order to keep going.
That's the way I
Well,
get
I'm glad. I'm glad. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because you seemed very stoked about it, and I was teasing you, being like, "Why did you even find this?" But I'm glad if you're stoked on it. That's good. And Lars says, "Don't tell me what he went to the restroom." Well, now we're not going to tell you because we don't need to get you sparked. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was that Curtis said X was a good place to be. So yeah.
I mean,
There,
X
now I
is the
told
best
you,
place.
Lars.
I can't think of anywhere better to be right now.
There's no
the
I'm not never mind. I was gonna say something.
we're already risking it with the Behringer piece, so let's move on quickly. Yes, this show is brought to us by our patrons. Thank you ever so much. If you want to help support us, you can go across to patreon.com/audionautic. Pledges start at $2 a month. And for that, you get a lot of early access to our show when we release stuff out on the label, for example. And monthly hangouts. Our next star stream is on the 27th of April, which is a Sunday, 7 p.m. UTC. And this is a place where we can sit, we can hang out off air, just chill and nerd out on all the synthesistic stuff that we like to talk about. I'm not even sure it's a word, but I'm going with it.
Wow.
But yeah, synthesistic.
What about synthesizer related topics?
If you'd like to be able to tease Curtis for not being able to say that.
There's their place, Starstream.
I was going for something more than just like synthesizers. I was going for like synthesis, and I was going for like production and sound design and stuff, which is synthesis. But yeah,
it sounds like something a doctor's going to diaggnose you with. Like you've got synthesistic.
Maybe that's how it's going to be.
Riddled with it.
Riddled with synthesistic.
The good news is I found a support group for you.
Yeah.
Synthesistic items.
Synthesistic therapy.
Exactly.
Starstream every month. Synthesistic therapy.
Yeah. One of the lovely things that we've been able to do as a result of our support, or the support from our patrons, is give away gift cards, which we've just had our listening party for our Discord challenge, which was the Lingering Light remix. And our winner very generously said, keep it and roll it over to next time. So these challenges are still happening, and we can give stuff away. Next time it will be a $20 gift card, which is lovely. And you never know, maybe it'll rack up until someone goes like, no, I want it. You never know. We'll have to see.
I was going to say that I did. Well, I didn't have time yet. You already beat me to it, but yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, come be a part of it. Come be a part of the patronage. Come be a part of the Discord. Link is in the description. Burgeoning community, blossoming community. It's a really fun place to be.
And I'd encourage everyone, if you're on the Discord, go check out the remixes everyone submitted. Everybody did some really cool stuff. And if you do still want to do a remix on that, Eonlake, looking at you, we're thinking as a label, we're going to release a remix EP, album, whatever have you, of that song, probably in about June or July. So if you want to grab the stems, they're still available on which channel on the Discord? Is it the sample discussion?
Community challenge.
Yeah, community challenge, the discussion one, because we have the submissions too. So you can grab those there and then just get them to us by May. But we'll announce everything on the Discord. But if you do want to be a part of it, we're going to do a little release for that. FCC, our winner, put up a really cool drum and bass remix that I highly recommend checking out. But yeah, lots of fun. They're just a way to get out of our comfort zone. And we're going to throw a poll up with the next two options we can do for the next listening part or next challenge. But we're going to change when we announce the challenge and all that stuff for the next time. So, Curtis, do you have the poll ready? I'm not on the YouTube, so I can't see the poll.
No, I can put it up. We can talk. We can have it there going
Yeah.
when.
Well, we'll throw it in the
through.
Discord, but we can also just throw it up in the poll for anyone for the next like 10 minutes while we're live. They can vote on it, and we'll just take a consideration before we leave. Hopefully, we remember. But the two options are remix your favorite artist, right? That was one of them, Curtis.
Remix your favorite artist, yeah.
Yeah, so just take a song. You can stem split it. You don't have to stem split it. Whatever. This isn't obviously to release. I mean, we're not released like nothing like that. It's just to have fun. The idea of samples, and then the other option is I'm totally blanking on it, Curtis. Steve's coming to help me out. Smiling Ears probably knows too.
He's got there. Let me put this up. So it's remix your favorite song, or I've lost my tab. I've got so many tabs open right now.
Oh my god. Is it in the no, it's not in the Discord. Okay, well I'll tell you what, we'll just throw it in the Discord. We don't have to put it up now.
In the Discord.
Yeah, because I'm totally blanking on what the other option was. I've totally forgot. I know the one
Wheel of Emotion.
That's it. That's the one. Yes. I can't believe I forgot that. It was so cool. So the other one from Smiling Ears, this is really cool. So we'll do a wheel, basically random algorithm or something to choose whatever sort of Smiling Ears put it right after Curtis remembered it, but that's perfect. So what it'll be is everybody takes a spin on the wheel of emotion. And then whatever it goes to, sad, happy, optimistic, pessimistic, whatever, melancholy, angry, that's the style you have to make your song. So there's no genre restriction, no instrument, nothing. The only idea is whatever emotion you're given, you have to convey that in the song. So those are the two options: remix your favorite artist or wheel of emotion, which just makes me think of Animaniacs. I don't know if you watched Animaniacs, but the show, the TV show. No, yeah. Okay.
Haven't watched The Godfather.
You haven't watched like anything, man. He was like, I've never seen The Godfather. I don't know what a cannoli is. It was like, who is this person?
Just on a different trip, I suppose.
But cannolis, man, you gotta at least try a cannoli.
I'll give it a try. I'll go down and find a cannoli from, I don't know, maybe there's a dude on the docks somewhere. He's got a cannoli.
You just need to go to an Italian restaurant and get a cannoli. That's it.
Yeah.
That sounds a lot
Eonlake knows what's up.
And dock stuff, that's not cannoli.
That's not pure cannoli, you know. You need the good stuff. Get the premium grade. The premium grade cannoli. Even Lars is like, cannoli's good.
Cannoli is good. All right.
He stepped out of his cassette and 8-track existence to state cannoli is good. So there you go. Okay. We should probably move on. We have like 5 minutes left, but that's good. Oh, dude, I'm game, Lars. I'd be game for some barbecue. Wow, Smiling Ears does not know what a cannoli is either. My whole world has been shattered.
Right.
That's not a good look for either of you. I'm just going to say that.
Maybe that's an English thing.
Eonlake knows what it is.
I'm not alone.
Yep.
Eonlake has taste.
He's a northerner, though. He's a northerner.
No, I'm not.
I won't get that reference, but
there you are. You are. That's a good point.
Anyways, if you want more cannoli discussions, head to patreon.com/audionautic. Help on the Discord convince Curtis to try a cannoli. Help him help himself. You know. Yes, grilling season is upon us. That's great, Lars. I'm game. Smiler says pizza. I know. Lars is donning the jean shorts and new belt. All right, you lost me there, man, with the jorts. But anyways, we digress fully.
Far from music production.
Yeah, we have gone far from music production, but cannoli should be a part of every music producer's diet. It's inspiring. It's magical. Anyways. You can head to our Discord. The link is in the description if you want to take part in the vote and decide what the next one is. The winner of the next one will get a $20. What is it? Tomon? I always forget.
Tomon gift card. Yeah.
There we go. Anyways, that's that. So head over there, and then if you want to help support the show and our cannoli, what is it? Just random side tangents, then head to the Patreon. But last thing we want to talk about, we'll talk about it quickly. There's not a lot of time. I am getting some echo. Is that on your end, Curtis? It seems like it might be. Let me check that your echo thing is set. It is. Okay. Well, anyways, Behringer. So I think this is something, and I want to bring this to the table to talk more. Is this a sign of things to come? So with the threat and imposition or practice of tariffs coming, Behringer apparently has had price increases. Things like the Poly D have risen from $569 to $629. The Swing MIDI controller, which is cheap at $100, is now $169. And I checked Amazon today, and these prices are still pretty much consistent. I saw some swings for like $114, but there might have been a deal or something. But we're seeing price increases for a company that I think main attraction is its prices, right? Like low entry level prices for good sounding gear. And so I just wanted to bring this to the table. You know, do we think this is something that we're going to see more of with other sync companies? And like Mike said in the Discord, you know, he's worried about boutique companies. Are they going to suffer price increases? And that's a huge worry too. There's always inflation. Things are always going up and things like that. But we are seeing, possibly because of tariffs with like manufacturing places, China, things like that, that we're seeing prices coming up possibly directly related to that. So Eonlake, you seem to have quite the opinion on this. What's your thought?
Well, kind of with Mike, really. I mean, you know, when you think about the way that it might interfere with certain people's business models, you start with the ones that you care about. I was thinking a little bit about Mo because I'm quite fond of them.
It's fresh in your mind.
Yeah. And they were a relatively small operation that's just been swallowed up by a huge multinational. And I wonder what impact that.
What is it? In grooves or something?
In music.
In music, yeah.
But I think, it's small Eurorack manufacturers. I mean, let's face it, you know, these modules aren't cheap to start with. If they have to go up significantly, just, you know, so that people can actually stay in business, I think some won't. And that's a bit of a shame, because the thing is, you know how this is going to work. It's going to affect, you know, the smaller, free thinking, crazy stuff more than the huge mega corporation run of the mill stuff.
Yeah.
And it does make me think about, particularly things like Eurorack and some of the wild and wacky stuff that people do there, and some of the lower profit margin stuff. I suppose for Behringer, I think it's probably not as much of an issue if I think about it, because, they're known for having affordable versions or copies of potentially expensive gear or legacy gear, heritage equipment. But if everybody's prices are going up, then they're still going to remain the cheap option, really, aren't they? And
yeah, that's true.
And a percentage of a small amount is smaller than a percentage of a large amount.
Yeah, that's also quite true.
Stop me if the maths is getting a bit too over the top. But
I think it's more just a bummer that it's rising in general for those.
Yeah,
anyone that's interested in gear, right? But especially wanting to buy budget-friendly things, it's like, well, now the budget-friendly goes up.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's all relative, though, right? Isn't it? I think it's whether or not it's a budget-friendly price to start with, because whoever's making it is utilizing economies of scale, or if they've just got low margin on it. If it's low margin, and obviously it's pretty bad news. But if it's just the fact that they're a huge company that can make them in huge numbers and save money that way, and that's why they're cheap in the first place, or, you know, it's the kind of organization that's able to do their own chip manufacturing or their own, you know, component creation and save money that way, then again, you know, it's not a margin thing. I think, everything's going to get more expensive is probably a safe bet for medium to long term, unfortunately. It's a good job this stuff's so cheap anyway, right?
That's subjective. Cheap. It depends on how much your budget is, I suppose. But Curtis, what do you think about all this?
In a similar vein, hey Abby, welcome. My voice cracked. I was that excited to have you up here in the chat.
Hey Abby.
The second half of this show has not been a good one for me. My brain's just
Don't you
not
hate when
firing.
that happens though? When like your voice just crack. Like I hate when that happens. Feels like you're what, like however old again. It's like, oh man, I've gone through this before. Please, no. It's because we talk so much. Like you just did all that demo.
Yeah, totally.
I put some.
I think that's what I need to do. I think what gets me about this is that I think I hear what everyone is saying, and I hear it's a shame, and tariffs are going up, and it's going to affect the small boutique guys and more than it is the multinational corporations, etc. And I agree with all that stuff. I think it's significant. I'm also thinking about this through the context of my existence, and all I have known is things to just increase in price. That's all I've seen, all I've known throughout my entire life. Things are more expensive, and so I'm kind of like, well, it's going to go up, isn't it? And it could be tariffs, or it could be austerity, or it could be whatever, it could be any of these things. And all I know is that my money goes goes less far every year, and so it's just another facts of it all, I suppose. And I think maybe I'm coming from a space of me. I've kind of just switched off from all what's going on in the big outside world, and just I'm not engaging with it at the moment. And it's obviously a shame. I just can't. It doesn't surprise me, and I can't see it going any other way than up, because we live in a system that has to eat itself to stay alive.
Boy, we are contemplative and pessimistic today, eh, Curtis? Yeah, no, I hear you though. It's tough. I know what you mean though. It is always going up, right? I think even though if you try to avoid the big world and what's going on out there, like you were saying, Curtis, it does or can directly affect us when you say, I need new gear. Well, let me look at what prices are, and then there it is. Oh wow. Now, granted, these prices haven't changed drastically yet. Though I stress yet. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I bring this up more as kind of a heads up, like we might be seeing price increases across the board. This is happening, and so if you are looking to get gear, I would never advise just like go out and buy gear. But if there is gear you're considering, maybe it's not a good time to buy it. That was maybe 2 or 3 months ago, but it could go up further is my concern. And again, like I'm not saying go buy gear, but if there is something that interests you, think about it. like Eonlake with his Moog.
On that note, I think you stumbled on a really good point there. Like
I'm always stumbling, man. I'm glad I stumbled somewhere worthwhile.
You always do. It brings up a very good point in the sense that instead of us going for a certain sound necessarily, or going for buying something specific, right? What if it was to kind of create this world, and this is complete conjecture, where you're buying what you can find and what you can afford. You go to a thrift store, or you pick up. I mean, I had an old Yamaha CZ 2000 or whatever it was called, and I got it because I found it in a skip. And
no, that's a really good point. Yeah, think about buying used, buying local, those things, finding things. I think even more to the point is like finding those. There was one YouTuber I always watched with like an old SP404 OG. And he would go thrift store shopping. Like he wouldn't show the thrift shopping, but he'd be like, this new synth I got at a thrift store. And it's this like little, Casio or whatever. Like, but you just make the most of what you've got. And I think there's something to that. Maybe it's like budgeting out for that stuff. So yeah.
The sound makes you as opposed to you making the sound.
Yeah. Good point. I like that. I'm glad that you went from this pessimistic, the world is empty, and like a Smashing Pumpkins song or something, into, hey, here's a good idea. Yeah.
That's just where my brain is right now. It's just swinging from
the duality
side to
of Curtis, swinging
like
a monkey,
and
right?
Darkness, and peaches and flowers. Like it's just all of it.
Blue sky. See, I was trying to work that in from that Twitter thing. There it is. or X. Blue sky. There we go. Just to appease Lars there with it. I did bring it back. Don't worry. Yeah. Okay. Well, I just wanted to bring this up more as like a PSA, I guess. Say again, Curtis.
Just I'm saying, I think you've found a good thing to end on.
Well, you found it. I just said stuff and it resonated with you to this idea. So I just say words and hopefully it sticks. And apparently it worked to inspire you. So we landed. I think we landed somewhere good. So we will call it there. Lars says, I appreciate that. I couldn't leave him like enraged with just mentioning X. So yeah, blue sky. There you go. There's your calming word.
Mentioned it again.
Easy, easy, Lars. Blue sky. Don't worry. Anyways, we'll end it there. Unless Eonlake, is there anything else you want to discuss about all of this? I think we end on a good note. So let's not.
I'm not starting off another round of chaos.
There we go. That's what the Discord's for. Head to the Discord if you want to talk about that stuff. But yeah, I bring this more as a PSA. Just start. You may want to think about these things. Like if there is gear you're looking at, maybe consider acting on it soon, or like Curtis said, which I really like, start going, thrift shopping, looking for gear on, used things, stuff like that. There's really cool stuff out there and underrated stuff, or just make the most of what you already have. That's usually my main tenet. Like make the most of what you have and find ways to use it in interesting, creative ways.
One thing and record it twice.
Yeah. Smart.
I like that. I like that.
All right. Well, with that, we will be back next week, 11 a.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. UTC. We're back on the normal times. There's none of the crazy time changes and stuff. So we'll be back normal. If you're in the U.S., it's normal time again. And thanks to everybody who partook in the sample challenge. And if you still want to, the samples are still up. Throw them in. And we'll announce the next one after the vote. So make sure that you vote. We'll throw it on the Discord because we completely spaced and then the cat got in the way of all of your tabs there, Curtis. So it's okay. Oh, nice. Lars says he got an Xbox 360 out of a dumpster.
That's a good way it did.
Was it a red ring of death, though? Did it have the red rings of death? Because, man, like every 360 got hit with that. I remember being on the phone with Microsoft when I was like, I don't even know, 12 or something. And they're like, what's going on? I'm like, red rings of death. They had to send me a new one. I had to send that one to get fixed or whatever. Yeah, that was a huge problem on the 360. It's crazy.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Anyways, that's enough. We're switching to a game podcast. So we'll call it there.
That's in the next hour.
A retro game podcast. All right. Thanks for watching. Oh, Eonlake's like, yeah, I'm out. No video games for me. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
This show.